What's up, everyone? Just wanted to come on real quick and just talk a little bit about one of my favorite horror franchises, A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's been a little bit of noise lately about them maybe rebooting it or making a remake again or something like that. Well, I just kind of want to give my thoughts on where I think the franchise should go from here and just kind of see if you guys agree with me or think my idea is preposterous. But, I love these movies. I've been a fan since I was a kid. I mean, I've watched them all so many times. It's probably my second all-time favorite behind Halloween. But, as I go back, they seem to grow on me more and more, while the Halloween seem to kind of fade a little bit more, even though I'd still consider Halloween to be number one. I just love these films, and, as we go forward, because they're not going to let this franchise just die and let it be. They're going to try to bring it back. So I'm like, okay, where are they going to really go from here? I mean, first of all, let's start off with the obvious, right? Robert Englund's gone. He's not coming back. He could have did that prequel. It was a while back, but he said it was a script for a prequel. He still said he thought he was young enough to maybe dye his hair and do it. And, it never materialized. So, okay, whatever. Robert Englund's gone. He's too old now. He's not coming back. So here's what I'm thinking, right? You can't have Freddy no more in the sense of Freddy. I mean, go back to the 2010 remake, which was garbage. And I can tolerate Freddy vs. Jason, but especially the last Nightmare on Elm Street we got, obviously Robert Englund was in Freddy vs. Jason. But what I'm saying is that you look at the 2010 remake with Jackie Earle Haley playing Freddy, right? I'm sorry, a lot of people say, oh, they thought he did a good job. They say, it was just bad makeup, but he did a good job acting. No, I just thought he was terrible all around. I thought the makeup was terrible, obviously. He was terrible. He had none of the wit. He didn't have the voice for it. He didn't have the charisma for it. Robert Englund has that charisma of Freddy. I mean, Jackie Earle Haley he was trying to sound too mean. He was trying too hard to be scary. And to me, it just never, obviously I hate the film. I rank it the worst in the franchise by far. Well, maybe not by far, but it's the worst in the franchise. And so where are we going to go from here, right? So here's my idea. I've rambled on for a couple minutes already without really talking about what I'm going to do. So look, here's my idea. Freddy as a guy can't happen. You're never going to find an actor to replace Robert Englund, right? You're never going to find anybody to take that spot, to fill that void. It's not like Halloween or Friday the 13th where you can just put a mask on somebody, or it's not a Chucky doll. It's not, Leatherface can be played by any, big guy. Just throw some skin on his face and boom. With Freddy, he's the most, he might be the most iconic in-your-face horror villain that there is, because the personality that he brings to these movies, it is Robert Englund. You can't replace that. You can't find anybody to duplicate that. In comparison to the old Freddy, they're not going to be even on par. And it's like these movies are old now, 20, 30, over 30 years old, but they're not so old to where, it's not like going back 80 years and watching a film. Like these films are still in color. They're still right there. So okay. So let me finally get to what I'm trying to say. Look, I know this is going to sound crazy, and you need to make Freddy a female, right? You need a female lead. And here's the reason behind this. A lot of people probably just clicked off when I said that. But seriously, and I'm not into this whole PC, we need to make every icon in every movie, every superhero movie, James Bond has to be a woman. I'm not into, the Ocean's 8, the Ghostbusters. No, I don't care about any of that stuff. My idea is just, look, you can't find a guy to replace Freddy. And in the news right now, we got all these teachers, right? Like, having sex with their students, and the female perception is changing, right? Females want equality. Okay, they want to be treated like men. You got women out here looking more and more like men, acting like men. So I think the perception of a female child killer, right, or a female child murderer, molester. I really didn't like that molestation aspect, though, in the remake, because, look, even though you kind of always thought, like, yeah, he was a child killer, you kind of had to put two and two together and figured maybe he did something with the kids sexually, too. But Freddy was loved. Freddy was, like, everybody loved Freddy. Like, Freddy was, like, a pop culture icon. Like, people, even though we kind of knew, like, we still loved him because it wasn't right there in your face. The 2010 remake was, like, it made Freddy unlikable. It made Freddy, like nobody likes a chomo, So it took that likable aspect of Freddy away, and it put this like dark cloud of like they're just boom, they're putting it like right in your face, like yeah, he was a child molester, child killer. Like I don't know what the difference was. I guess it really shouldn't matter, but I don't know. I guess I just like Freddy more knowing he was just a child killer instead of a child killer and a child molester. So I don't know. That's just me, whatever. But I think adding a female lead to this franchise. Now you got to find the right girl, right? You got to find the right girl who can carry the film. You can't just get. It has to be the right part. It can't just be some super hot blonde chick, with big boobs and whatever. You got to find really the right woman for the role. I don't even have any ideas in mind. I'm just saying you got to find the right, because we've seen Freddy take on a female form many a time. Go back to the first one, with the chick in the school with the glove, and that was pretty creepy. And then you got the third one, obviously, where the blonde chick who tied Joey up to the bed with her tongue. Freddy's taken on a female persona in films before, and it worked pretty well. Now the question is, can a female carry the film, right? But here's my line of thinking, right? Then you don't have to compare her to Robert Englund because it's a girl playing the role, right? It's a female lead. And Freddy can come at you in dreams. Make this chick come at you in dreams so she can have power. So it's you know what I'm saying? Like you can make creative kills. It wouldn't be like, even if a girl, Robert Englund's not a big guy anyway. Freddy's never been like a massive hulking Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. You don't need, a 7-foot Freddy. Freddy don't really kill you like that. Freddy kills you, with your fears, and he uses different things like props, or, what I'm saying? Freddy can kill you in a bunch of different ways, right? So you don't need, the size really don't matter with Freddy is what I'm saying. So the females, and like I said, they did it before pretty well. You can build the story, you can remake the story again, right? Like you can tie it in to Freddy with a female who gets caught doing whatever with young kids, right? Raping them, killing them, molesting them, selling them, and what selling them to like slave, like child trafficking, human trafficking, whatever. Build a storyline upon that, right? And then tie it into Freddy. People are having dreams about her. Tie it in somehow to Freddy. Be like, oh, what's happening to us is similar to what happened in this town of Springwood back in, the 80s and the 90s. Tie it in, right? Find the right girl for the role. People won't compare the lead to Robert Englund all the time. People won't look at this guy. Like, I know, I had low expectations for the remake, but still, the whole time, anybody who watches that film, how can you not sit there and be like, wow, this sucks. This ain't Robert Englund. This ain't Freddy, right? So, but if you get a female lead, a female actor who can handle this pressure, who can handle being able to play that evil role, but still have a little bit, a spunk, a little charisma. I don't want necessarily super, super funny or super dark, but I always like Dark Freddy, but I think with the female role, you can add a little bit of both, right? You can add just a little bit of both, and I think people would be more open to the idea. At least in my mind. Look, I might look back on this video in a month and say, wow, this was a terrible idea. But I'm just saying, when I think about it, I'd be more open to that than another Freddy retread where you basically try to remake the first movie. They pay homage to the first 2 or 3 films. They add a little bit from the first film, a little bit from the second film, a little bit from the third film, and then they try to kind of tie it all together. And then they put a little bit of maybe a twist at the end or something of their own creation. But we've seen that before, Like, we've been seeing this now for a while, and it's just, you can play it safe and make a decent remake or reboot of the franchise and just pretty much stick to the script of the first 3 movies. And then if it does well at the box office, which it probably will, because it's been a while since the Nightmare on Elm Street movies came out now, and I think fans will go see it no matter what. If you play it safe, stick to just keeping the first, second, and third movies together. You take the child molestation angle. You can play it safe, make a decent film, and then go ahead and make a sequel or 2 afterwards. Kind of what they're doing with Halloween. Play it safe. Maybe even like bring Heather Langenkamp back or something in like a cameo role, or make her a parent or something. You could do it like that, and the fans would be okay with it, right? And they like it. And then people would say, "Oh, well, it's still better than Part 5. It's still better than the remake. It's better than Freddy's Dead." People can say you can make a movie on par better than some of the sequels in this franchise. But I'm thinking we really need to get creative if we're going to bring it back. Get something where you're taking a risk, right? You're taking a risk, but it could really pay off. And if it pays off, you could almost add like another horror villain with the Nightmare on Elm Street script, right? With the Nightmare on not really script, but with the Nightmare on Elm Street platform, with the foundation already built on that one. Put a new lead in, a female lead. Let her build her own iconic figure based on the principles of Nightmare on Elm Street, and then you won't be kicking fans in the face with some crappy retread, and people won't be able to say, "Oh, well, yeah, essentially you're using the title to get people to the theater." But I just feel like when you can, a dream, you can do anything. So why not, right? I mean, why not try it out? Because we've seen them try to remake it in 2010. Didn't work out. Was terrible. Was one of the worst horror remakes ever, in my opinion. So we've seen that fail, flop miserably. Terrible CGI. Just Freddy with just no charisma. Just bad makeup. Like we've seen it go that route now. So why are we gonna just try to make a mildly better movie and just be a little bit safer and just kind of do that thing where they just tie the first 3, maybe even 4 movies in together, right? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Do something different. Get creative with it, right? I think a woman can have a role because we've seen Freddie do it with women before, and even though it was only for very short periods of time, people don't look back at those movies and say, "Oh wow, when like Freddie turned into a girl in the first movie, that was stupid." No, if anything, that's one of the most memorable little scenes in the film. People don't look back at Part 3 and be like, "Oh, that was so stupid when Freddie turned in to that blonde chick and spit tongues out and tied Joey to the bed." Now, granted, that's because she was pretty much naked right there. So people, she was a hot chick, so people probably liked that scene a little bit more, especially younger people. But you know what I'm saying? You could do it if you find the right female. It could be done, and I think fans would be a little bit more open to it. And yeah, so I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think it's an interesting idea. I just want to do something different with it. I just don't want the same retread or remake of the first one. We still have the first one. If I want to see the first, the second, or the third one, all great films in my opinion, I'll go back and watch those. I don't want to see them remade again with a little bit of a modern twist, a bunch of CGI. Throw in a couple cell phones, get some dumb teenagers. What are you gonna do? Remake Nancy again? We've seen how bad Rooney Mara butchered Nancy. I don't want to see Nancy get butchered again. We've already seen that happen once. I don't want to see that again. So, and then I don't want to get. I'll cut the review short here, but let me know what you guys think of this idea. I think it's interesting. I think this is probably the only horror franchise where you can pull this off. I mean, you think about the other ones. You can't turn Michael Myers into a woman. Can't turn Jason into a woman. Can't really turn. I mean, Hellraiser had female Cenobites. I guess Hellraiser potentially could, even though, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it would work, but Hellraiser's a possibility, but you can't make Leatherface a woman, right? Trying to think of some other, big time horror franchises here. My mind's kind of drawing a little bit of a blank right now. They already made Ghostface a girl. A lot of people like Scream 4. Hey, think about it like that, right? Scream has had female killers before. Debbie Salt, Billy's mom. Forgetting her name, but Julia Roberts' kid. I can't remember her name right now. The fourth one. A lot of people like them movies. You look at a lot of reviews, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Scream 2, Scream 4. So that's some people. I've seen Scream 2 as a lot of people's favorite in the franchise. I've seen Scream 4 up as high as number 2. I think I've seen it on one list before. I disagree. But still, you've had female killers before in major franchises, and it's worked out. And those, now granted, there's a mask on the whole time. It's not in front of you like that, but people were open to that. People didn't say like, "Oh, I hated that movie simply because it was a female killer, and that's just ridiculous. You can't have a female killer." There's been female. Urban Legend had a female killer. I love Urban Legend. Honestly, I like Urban Legend's Final Cut too. But I like Urban Legends a lot. Rebecca Gayheart did it great. And people now granted she was in a mask and everything the whole time, But at the end, when she was unveiled, people weren't like, "Oh, this is so stupid. A girl as a killer." No, so I think people would be open to it as long as you can change a couple little things around, and boom, I think people would be open, and then you don't have to make the comparisons to Robert Englund. Rebuild the cast around it instead of Freddy. You know, have the girl. You can just do so many different things. I feel like you can have her torture men more than women. You can have a male lead and have her torturing the male lead and kind of flip the script a little bit right there, as like when Freddy was torturing Nancy or Alice or Kristen. Turn it around. I thought Mark Patton did really good in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I know a lot of people hate that movie, but you can get a guy to play that role. Great. I think, again, it would add something different, and it would just really make for an interesting reboot and something that, hey, shoot for the moon, right? If you end up among the stars, you still, you got close, right? That's what people say. So I think, hey, it's an idea. We just got to do something. If you guys have any ideas for a reboot, or if you guys have any thoughts on what you would do with the reboot or the remake, let me know, or put it in the comments section. And just let me know what you think of my idea. And if anybody else out here has had this idea, I didn't go watch a bunch of videos. I'm not copying off nobody. It's from my own mind. But if anybody else has videos out here talking about the same thing or something similar, hey, I'm not trying to infringe on you. But I just wanted to come in here and spit some stuff I was thinking. All right. Hey, 16-minute long video, pretty long. So thank you all for listening. Let me know what you think.